All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Texas. That's Mitch Thames over there. I'm Jeff Michaels. It's so glad to be here. And just to let everybody know, we missed the big storm. Matagorda County did, I should say. A lot of listeners. We do have a lot of listeners outside the county, up in Grimes County and Madison County. Friends of mine that when I was on the radio up there. But man, there was some bad weather up there, brother. Tractor trailers getting knocked over on Interstate 45. 12.2 inches of rain in Madisonville. My sister-in-law's floor, the water was bubbling up through the floor. She had 2.5 feet of water in her house in bead ice. So it's bad. But real quick, we're going to start with this. It's a little quick news brief that I'm going to try to do every week so everybody knows. And this is up to the minute stuff. So this is the stuff that was put out just in the past hour or so. So we're going to do this. We'll add that up there. All right, there we go. At least 4 casualties were confirmed Sunday as tornadoes whipped through several states starting on Friday. A Saturday night tornado decimated much of downtown Sulphur, Oklahoma. Residents of a small town are asked to stay away from the area because of the old structures that are barely standing, and homes are being assessed at this time. The National Weather Service is still determining the strength of the Sulphur storm, but the town was left in total destruction. That's bad there. Yeah. And then up in Madisonville, which is just north of here, severe storms on Sunday left the power outages across parts of Texas, according to poweroutage.us. At least 52,000 customers were without power in northeastern Texas on Sunday evening. The storm appeared to produce a tornado near the town of Madisonville, Texas, where the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning. A 67-mile-an-hour wind gust was reported at the weather station near Madisonville. Also, 12.2 inches of rain fell in Madisonville and in Bead Ice area in Anderson County. Many homes were flooded without warning. Meanwhile, power poles were reported knocked down about 10 miles away from Bead Ice. Trees are reported down near Henderson, Texas, from a storm that produced winds near 60 miles an hour in a long area. Highway 90 in Anderson County is still flooded in areas at this time. And one last thing we want to report on that just came out just a few minutes ago. Police at the University of Texas on Monday arrested protesters as a pro-Palestinian demonstration where some were setting up tents on Austin campus. As of 5 p.m. today, Monday, 43 protesters have been arrested, said Austin criminal defense attorney George Lobb. So that's what's going on right now in the state of Texas.
That's crazy. I will tell you, we're I don't know how you have differing opinions and you feel like you've got to go camp out or break the law or that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody's got a First Amendment right. I certainly support anybody's right, whether I agree with their opinion or not. But what is the old deal? Said I don't believe in what you're saying, but I'll fight to the death your ability to say it.
Right.
But then there's the opportunity where you're disrupting the classes and disrupting the campus and I'll say the flow. So I think calmer heads need to prevail. We really need some leadership. I think our elected leadership needs to step up and step out. I know the kids just want to be heard. I get it. Although, I don't remember. Of course, I was tied up in football, and if we'd have done something like that on college campus, that we never would have got through running. The coach would have ran us till we didn't have a protest bone left. But I don't remember that back in there. I remember reading about the protest, the war protests in the 60s and that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, the thing is too, Mitch, you're finding out they're having this problem in some of the bigger cities, Seattle and Los Angeles and New York and Chicago. And a lot of them are not even students.
Yeah.
Which is an issue for the students who want to go. A lot of them are not Jewish or Palestinian. That's another problem. So here's my thought. If you want to protest, go over there.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Yeah.
Go over there and fight the battle. We're not fighting the battle here, man.
Right.
You know, we're not going over. We're not. None of our militaries doing anything except what Iran did, or Iraq, or whatever it was that came over and, you know, we did our thing. We're out. We're done. Now it's up to Israel to do what they want to do. We're not going to stop Israel from doing whatever it is they plan on doing. But as of the news today, that Israel is very close. They have one more area of the Gaza Strip that they're going to sweep before they determine that everything is good to go. Listen, there's bad people in every country. I don't care where you're at. Okay. Right. That's been a war going on for thousands of years over there. And for kids growing up that don't know what's going on and are given bad information and are told wrong things, you know, I watch these guys that know a lot in the history about what's going on over there. Just if you don't know, stay out of it. Just stay out of it. You just make it worse. And you just, you know, you're gonna put down people that don't need to be put down, and you're gonna support people that don't need to be supported, because you're gonna be on the wrong side. So, you know, I'm a firm believer in Israel. I know they've been everybody and their mother wants to attack them over there. It's because, you know, they went over. You know, it's a Christian country. I'm a Christian. I need, you know, they need to fight to the end and defend themselves. If somebody comes over and attacks us, I mean, look what we did. So they're doing the same thing. So, you know.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of these kids, I don't think they quite know what's really. I watched a segment where this young white lady, a young girl, was protesting, and she said that she hated white people. I was like, well, wait a minute. You are a Caucasian female. And she said, you know, I just hate all white people, and I'm not going to listen to you because you're white. And I thought, how misguided is that? I mean, geez.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, they're just not, I don't know. Of course, they're I don't know that, I don't mean this as a dig, but, you know, I don't know that their brains are fully developed. I said that about my daughters. No offense to them either. I didn't want them getting married till they were 25 because I didn't want to make them the wrong decision. And of course, I don't know, they're happily married, but they're still married. That was a joke. That was a joke. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Happily married. Get it?
Happily married. Yeah, I got it. Happily married. The thing is, if everybody was blind, what would everybody pick on then? How could you pick on color if everyone was blind?
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
What? You know, if God comes down and takes everybody's sight away from them sometime, you know, and say, okay, well, you guys screwed up with the sight thing. Let's take away that. Let's see if you can do the talking and the hearing instead of seeing.
Yep.
You know? So it just, you know, I never
leadership.
I never looked at color. I never did. You know, I have great Hispanic friends, great black friends. I have great Jewish friends. I have great, you know, I don't look at the guy and say, how can you walk up to somebody and say, oh, you're black? No, I'm Indian.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what does that have to do with? Somebody walked into the shop here the other day.
Yeah.
And spoke really loudly to Lydia and says, do you speak English? And Lydia comes out and says, Lydia comes in the door and she starts speaking to me in Spanish, which I don't understand. Oh. I walked outside, can I help you? Yes, I didn't know if she spoke English or not. I said, well, how about just trying to speak English? And she let her say she doesn't understand. You know?
I bet she had fun doing that.
Oh, yeah, she loves those people. Yeah. Yeah, she all the time. Or I'm with her and we had the baby the other day, and someone asked if she was the babysitter for me.
Oh man, that made points with her.
Now, if you can't see, how would that work? If you can't see, how could that work? So everybody's not using their eyes properly.
Right.
They're not using their free speech properly. They're not. There's a lot of stuff. It just the whole country's turning ignorant as hell, and it's just lack of leadership, lack of common sense, lack of lack of teaching the proper thing. It's
Right.
ridiculous, man. It's just
It is. It is.
I'm glad my kid's getting out of school soon. That's all I know.
I
Because
bet.
they know what to watch and what to look for. And they actually ask me questions, Dad, was this way back then? No.
Yeah.
We didn't get to read everything off of our I'll tell you what, and I'll say this real quick. Every once in a while I watch Bill Maher on HBO.
Okay.
Now he's a Democrat. For the most part, he's been a Democratic guy, except for the Biden administration, which he's sort of down the middle. There was a professor on there the other night. Man, a younger professor. I'd say 40, 45.
Yeah.
Bald-headed guy. This guy was smart. Man, and everything he said just made perfect sense,
Yeah.
He said, did you know, by the way, our population of children, babies being born, used to be when a married couple, about 80% of married couples have babies. Okay. Married couples nowadays, you're at 42%.
Oh my God.
Did you know that the average male, ages 25 to 36, are not married, that are not married, plan on never getting married, and everything has been blamed on social media.
Right.
They always say, go out to the bar, pick up a chick. Now, if you go out to the bar and pick somebody up, their heads are in their phones anyway. They're not going to talk.
Yeah.
You got social media platforms or social platforms that you can go and look online. It's like going shopping for a bride or a groom or whatever it is. You don't even have to get out of the chair. You could be 7,000 pounds and marry somebody online. It just,
right.
Or whatever you look like or whatever. That's what I say.
It's
world
crazy.
needs to be. It's nuts anymore. Anyway, don't want to get off the
Upside
track. I already sucked out 15 minutes of life out of everybody right now by talking. So, and I can go off on all kinds of other crap too. But
I bet you're loaded for. But hey, I thought about this the other day.
Yeah.
But at least you're feeling better. Because there for a while, man, you weren't feeling the best.
Right now, my back is. It's my back mostly. Yeah. That's another. We'll get into that. That's another story about insurance and crap. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Get insurance, pay more for extra insurance, and then be told no on everything that you has to get done. Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. Well, that's what that doctor said. Well, that's great, but we're not going to cover that. Well, who covers that? I don't know. All right. But anyway, all right. Let's kick off your first thing, the Commissioner's Court, and let's talk a little bit about that and what they talked about. The drainage and stuff. Yeah.
So. Commissioner's Court today passed an abatement for a battery storage facility. I think it was very important. I congratulate our county judge and our whole team. It was unanimous, 5-0. Now, I know a lot of people, and I have to feel like I have to start this. So I've not always been a renewable energy supporter. I will even go as far as years ago. I was probably a detractor, that I just wasn't very thrilled about renewable energies. And I'm talking about wind and solar. But look, you can beat your head against the wall and all you're going to do is be bloodied and bruised. So if you can't beat them, join them. I know that's probably oversimplification, but here's the angle I took at today's vote. That's about a $300 million project that's going to be on the tax rolls. They did do a 5-year tax abatement, 100%, but catch this action. That land right now is under ag exemption. And those of you that don't know what that means that because it's in some kind of ag production, it gets a significant tax break. And I'm going to say significant because I own some ag exempt land. And I'm probably, and I never added it up, but I feel very comfortable saying a 90% tax. I pay less tax on that because it's under production for hay. There's a young man cuts and bales hay on the acres that I have, and so right now we're probably in according to Mike Ferdinand, and I think this is an error. I still pay something on there. He said it's on the tax rolls at zero. My guess is a 90-95% tax break. We're probably picking up a couple of $100 a year in taxes off of that ag exempt land. Now it's going to go into full production. All the ag exemptions will come off. $300 million project. But in 5 years, the first thing that happens is the company is going to give a revenue. I forgot the exact wording. I should have wrote it down. But they're going to get a support check from the company for $1 million just to start off. So you and I, the county, we're already $1 million richer because of today's action. Now, in the next 5 years, next 4 years, they're going to give another $1,250,000 a year, year 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and then it goes on the tax rolls 100%. If we can continue to add to our taxable value, and I'm not talking about our appraisals, which don't get me started on that either, especially in Jackson County. I won't go there. But these ridiculous evaluations, and I think our legislature is going to have to take a look at that. But let's go back to Commissioner's Court vote. Then that $400 million facility will be on the tax rolls. That could mean a penny or two lower taxes that you and I have to pay. And so that's where I am. Plus, I will tell you, this battery storage, let me explain it. So it's gonna just like when you charge your phone battery, it's gonna take energy. It's gonna create a battery bank, and then when we need it, when it's a thin margin, when it's really hot, when we all running air conditioners, when industry is cranking up 100%, then they're gonna discharge the batteries and help stabilize our grid. One of the problems for wind and solar is the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. But while the sun's shining and when the wind is blowing, if you can charge up these battery banks, and then it kind of still not base load power like STP or some of our other power plants, just north of Matagorda County in Wharton, they've got the natural gas fired plant. Those are what they call base load power plants. You can always depend on them. Wind and solar, not so much. So this battery bank will help that a little bit. Let me also share with you, we've got a battery bank right here in Bay City, Texas on 60 North, near 12th Street, right behind the old auto glass place is a battery bank. And so they do the same thing. They collect power when we've got plenty of power and then discharge it when we're needed. So hats off. If you'll remember, I was critical of Commissioner's Court, especially with a particular vote with the Tenaris abatement request for an additional $500 million facility. So I've got to, and I was pretty hard on them, but I've also got to brag and say thank you to those commissioners when they do this. The more we can get added to our base tax load, the lower our tax rate can be. Again, it doesn't have anything to do with the appraisal side. That needs to be fixed as well. One of the reasons I ran for state rep years ago was to have a stable appraisal process. But Commissioner's Court, city councils, taxing entities, they set a tax rate, and hopefully that tax rate can be reduced because of today's action. So hats off to the commissioners. If you see one of our commissioners, the county judge, thank them for me. I took the opportunity today to thank the judge. I will have an opportunity to thank the commissioners. I was in a meeting today with the judge and told him congratulations. Guys, there's a lot going on and it's positive and we're going to move forward, but we'll move forward together. But They get it. They get it from us, from me, from you, from Jeff, all of us. They get it. They want to be able to lower that tax rate, and we're going to help them.
Yeah, and again, it's like you said, and it's like beating a dead horse when you tell everybody we need to have more taxable income coming into the county in order for this to happen. We cannot stop projects that are out there that make sense. That are going to make sense for the country, and and I could see Matagorda County, like we talked before, being one of the energy capitals in the state of Texas. With STP and the wind farms and solar and all that other stuff.
Well, and the hydrogen as well. I mean, they're
hydrogen. That's right. Yeah,
but they are producing an energy source.
Yeah. So to stop things that are happening, to create, just because you're rich doesn't mean the rest of us have to sit back and suffer. That's what I say.
Well,
so
we talked a little bit, Jeff, about the city of Palacios, and they're going through kind of a little minor crisis with an oyster hatchery, and I went to the public hearing, and about 3 or 4 spoke. It was about 50-50 against and for. But 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 actually got up there, and what they were saying, and I tried to talk to them, but although they're not, we don't want anything to change. And they stood up and said that in front of, I don't know, probably 100 people in that room. We just don't want it. We moved here 30 years ago. We don't want it to change. My question to them is, inflation has everything going up. The city's having to pay more for vehicles, more for fuel, more for salaries. Everything is cost of doing business, the cost of products, the cost of materials. Everything is going up. So if you don't change a thing, are you willing to pay the extra taxes to keep everything the same? Because remember, costs are going up.
That's right.
You don't want them to cut any cost. Are you willing, because you don't want anything to change, they've got to charge you more. They got to get more money out of you to pay for the increase to run the city. And I asked one lady, I said, are you willing to continue to raise your contributions to the city in property taxes and sales tax? And she said, oh, no. And I said, well, you can't have it both ways. Do you see that? Costs are going up, whether you like it or not. You don't want any new business, any new housing. You love looking out over the beautiful water. Then you got to pay more money. Well, I don't want to do that. And it's like, okay, something's not meshing here. I mean, I'd love everything to stay the same too. I'm pretty set in my ways, but I can't afford it.
Right. And here's something too, Mitch. In my business, a lot of the parts that I get are online, so you have to get online parts. Okay. A lot of places around here don't carry small engine parts. Davis Brothers has a good quality of stuff that I get, but I want to get a good value, so I profit a little bit off of the things that I get, just like they do. They don't buy that stuff for $12.95 and sell it for $12.95. Doesn't work that way. They buy it for $12.95 and sell it for $20, or to make the money. They got to pay people to stock the shelves. They got the time to order the stuff, the time to do inventory, the electric, the mortgage, everything has to be included in that.
Yeah, everything.
Right. So people always ask me all the time, well, can you give me tell me how much it's going to cost to fix this? No, I can't. Absolutely not. And I'm not ever going to say that, because then you get into that argument. Well, you told me it was this, but now you're charging me this. So here, just in the past, give everybody an idea, just in the past month and a half, everything that I normally order that's anywhere between $20 to $50 is going up $4 to $7.
Wow.
Everything, carburetors, coils, $4 to $7 more now than it was a month and a half ago. So am I going to eat that?
Yeah, you can.
You can't. So it's exactly the same thing you're trying to explain to that lady in Palacios. Are you want the people that own the businesses to eat it, so that the business won't exist in another week? and you can still live, but you won't be able to have the conveniences of going to those businesses?
Exactly.
Or do you want these other businesses to come in to pay for that tax rate, to keep the cost the same? It's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't want to understand rather than people that understand. If you're sitting back and don't want to understand something, like, I don't need to hear this, and walk away, you're never going to learn how this stuff works. It took me a while to learn, hey, my gas when I was a kid driving, it's 55 cents a gallon. Now it's $3. It's there. You ain't got a choice. There's nobody that sits us. None of us get to sit and vote what the gas price is going to be.
Nobody.
Not one of us. None of us. So why is it okay to sit and complain about your tax? Well, I'm going to move away. Who are we going to move to? Another place that has higher taxes? I don't get it. So sometimes you have to sacrifice a very little bit out of your pocket to make something happen that it gets put back in your pocket. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. Again, I'm going to say it again. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little out of your pocket in order to get something back in your pocket. And that's bringing other business in that create tax revenue for the county that help pay the taxes and make it easier for us to live. Well, I don't want these big industries and stuff. So far, no big industries are coming in here with smokestacks and all that other stuff.
No,
it's stuff you're really not even going to see.
Yeah.
Most people don't see STP. It's down there. There's not that many cars that drive by there. It's not a big highway. The GIF, HIF. You're not going to see them. They're going to exist, but it's going to create revenue.
That's right. That is
the things you need to see are the schools and how they're improving and what they're looking like.
Right.
Every single one of our schools in Matagorda County is upgraded or has new schools. That's good. And it looks great. It's keeping up with the Joneses.
And that's a direct result of Bullfox too. Bullfox chose here or Van Belang because of all the new schools. If they were still in those 1930 buildings, you wouldn't have a Bullfox subdivision.
That's right.
And I bet you it's the same for all of the subdivisions. My kids are moving back right now from Phoenix to Houston. And guess what? The first thing they're looking at is schools. They're looking for houses, but they also look for the schools.
Yeah.
Very important.
Schools, a huge thing. If you go and look for a home online, you look, it's always on there. Like go to Zillow. Okay. Yeah. The price of the home is this. This is the school district and the rating.
Amen.
Those are the things that are on there. There's not much. What the tax is, the school, location, all that stuff. They don't put up crime rate. They don't put up all that other stuff.
Right.
No, they put up schools. So that's a very important thing. Taxes is a very, tax is a very important thing. So understand the no answer you're going to give. Understand something before you jump at a no answer.
Right.
Like, we're going to do this, this, and that. No. Well, do you understand what we just said? No. Okay. Well, then go. Get out of here. And that's okay. I mean, our business alone here.
Yeah.
This is probably this week here. And people are starting to realize that you go into Walmart anymore, you can't get a push mower under $400.
Right.
So people are willing to spend $100, $125. I haven't raised, because gas prices going up, I haven't raised my labor rates. I haven't, nothing, right. I don't have any room left. If you come to my business and you look outside, you think I was a tractor salesman. That's what you think I was. Every kind of zero turn riding mower, every push mower, weedy, everything is here. Tons of them. And you got people bringing them in now figuring, okay, well, $100, $200 to fix something is better than spending $450 on something new when you can get it running for new for $200.
Yeah.
So, and that as well. You're the same thing. Your tractor's over here. And yes, we found an engine for your tractor, by the way. So I just want to let you know.
Okay.
So anyway, so to spend that kind of money, like example, your tractor, it's a high-end Troy build. It's a high-end Troy build, the biggest one that they make.
Yeah.
And to buy a new one is up close to $4,000.
No, I've been
It's
looking.
really crazy. It's crazy,
Ow!
you know?
Ow.
So now you have a choice between a used engine and a new engine and how long you want to keep it, depending on what it looks like.
That's right.
There's people that bring me crap in here that's put together with duct tape and string, and I'll say, listen, there's no more we could do for this. This is done. I'm not going to take your money and say, well, we're going to fix it all up, and 2 weeks later it's going to break down. We don't have that. That don't happen.
Right.
But if you do spend the money on what you're getting, you know,
yeah,
it's you got to realize, is it worth making something happen? Right. And again, you know, we can keep these rates where they're at, especially in Matagorda County, if we have a good taxable base here in the county to help everybody, businesses as well.
We're certainly getting there. I mean, we're all working hard. We're pulling together. And again, I've got to say it. Thank you, Commissioners Court, County Judge, 5-0 vote today to bring this entity into Matagorda County, which is extremely important. Because look, I've got the county judge. He knows. We were in a meeting today, and he knows everything I'm doing is to lower the tax rate.
No, that's good. That's the way to do it.
You know, everything we're doing is to lower the tax rate, knowing that the employees need raises. Let's be honest. Equipment costs are going up. Fuel costs are going up. Everything is going up. And to be honest, you know, they're trying to attract quality employment at somewhat of a less, you know, I say it, when you're a 15-year heavy equipment operator and you can go to Wharton to the Buc-ee's and make more money day one, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I get the fact that the budgets are going to have to go up. If we get it, I'll just say it this way: if we get this battery storage facility here, and it really looks good, then maybe my tax. Here, I had to say it this way: maybe my taxes don't go up at all, because somebody else is helping. Because I guarantee you, the budget is going up, just like your like your budget, my budget. Everybody's budget is going up.
Another thing I want to bring up, and I bring it up only because I was a firefighter and a police officer. We have to get some kind of better taxable income as well.
Yeah.
To keep our police department guys that have been. We have guys that are leaving that have been here for 19 years, 20 years that are going to other departments to retire because they make more money in smaller towns. No, not $1 more, a lot more, like 1.5 times.
Yeah.
More. You know, I talked to one recently. He still lives here in Bay City. And I'm not going to say his name, but he was here for, I think he said 13 years or 14 years. And this was a great guy. And the mayor, he told me the mayor talked to him. What is it that we can do to keep you here? He said, we can't keep the same pay with everything going up around us, and it just doesn't work. So these are things that need to get worked on a lot, and we need to have it. We need to have better. Now, speaking of that, let's talk about the flood issue over there that you said that you were talking about. So we talked a lot about it. I know Mike Mariner weighed in. There was a lady. I contacted you, Jeff. Contacted Mike.
Me.
Listen, by the way, Mike don't count, because what we need to do with him is get that the flood over there so we can put a boat in the water, put him in it, so he sails out of town. Just thought I haven't picked on Mike in a while. I know he's listening, but we got to put him in a boat. As soon as the water gets a little high, put him in a boat. Let's see if he drifts to another county. Push him out. That's it.
Well, I didn't feel good about the answer that you and I gave, and so I've been working, looking, studying. I did attend the Drainage District #1 meeting the other morning. They talked quite a bit about it, and I'm starting now to understand a little bit more. And there were some that thought I was critical of Drainage District #1, and if I was, I apologize. That was not my intention. Sometimes when I'm asking questions, I think it just tends to I ask questions out loud. So I will tell you this. So here's what I understand, and I feel better about the whole process today, is that there was a drainage plan submitted. It is being followed. But the real truth of the matter is we took a lot of heavy rain. In fact, I remember that morning I was going to First Friday early that Friday morning. And I'm telling you, 7th Street was flooded. I was headed east, and there were times where all the traffic was having to be in the center lane. And we get rains like that from time to time. I will tell you that the fact that the rains collected in spots, certainly collected on 7th Street. I said that day. And I know there are several people, maybe a lot of people in one particular subdivision that got very concerned with how the water came up and stayed. So the water plan, they submitted the water plan. The water plan is solid. They are constructing. They are working on that property every day to follow the water plan. But you don't just wave a magic wand and all the piping and all the drainage goes in all at the same time. So I would say, unfortunately, fortunately, it's a work in progress. It will improve once they're every day they get more and more and more of the drainage system installed. So I don't think it's the developer's problem. I don't think it's the construction company. I don't think it's a problem for the drainage district. I think that it's a construction zone, and it was unfortunate that it rained that much, that fast that morning. Again, I remember it because I was going to a meeting at 6:30, and it's about 6 o'clock, and I'm going down. In fact, I remember it so well. My wife was going to go into Houston for something. And I remember calling her that morning and going, look, I just want you to know, maybe a dentist appointment. I don't remember. And I said, hey, I just want you to know the roads are flooded. Do whatever you feel safe, but be careful because the roads are flooded. And so I feel very comfortable that the plan is going to work. I feel very comfortable that the developer and the construction crew will get everything installed the way the plan calls for it to be installed. I just think that there are some situations that are going to happen during construction. I was pleased to find out that no water actually entered anybody's houses. It just flooded their yards. And correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody's house got some water in it, I've been told they did not. But I feel very comfortable in the plan. I feel very comfortable in the developer. I feel very comfortable in the construction. And when this thing is built out, and hopefully it's built out very, very, very soon, before we get like our friends to the east and north, 12, 15 inches of rain. But I did want to report back that it will be fixed. It's a construction zone. Not everything, you can't put everything in all at once, but every day they're putting more and more and more in. And I feel very comfortable that Russell Ranch will be a good neighbor to the community, will be a good neighbor to the subdivisions around it. And I just think we need to give the developer time to get all of the equipment, all of the piping, drains, retention pond, everything in place. Right. So any questions, Jeff? If we get any questions, let us know. But that's my homework. I didn't feel like I wanted to leave it open-ended. Yeah. But I feel very good about the parties. And I will also tell you I feel good about them working together. The drainage district had been working with the developer and the construction folks because of this. So I will tell those individuals in that subdivision, you did good. You called the alarm. The mayor, council, you've got the developer, the drainage district. They're all paying attention. They heard you, investigated it, and working through the situation. But I felt very good about that. There wasn't any finger pointing. There really wasn't any disparaging. They're all singing from the same sheet of music. So I feel very, unfortunately, we had a lot of rain.
Right.
Might have another heavy rainfall between now and fully implementation of the drainage system. But it's being installed every day. They're putting more and more and more of it in.
Okay. Speaking of that real quick, I just want to let everybody know this, that coming up in the next week or so, we are going to have the people on from the National Weather Service talking about the hurricane season.
Oh, yeah.
Which is supposed to be very, very active. The highest numbers that were ever put out there as far as named storms and tropical storms and things like that.
Right.
Reason being, we're going to be in an El Nino this year, number one. The water temperature is halfway across the Gulf already in the mid to upper 80s already.
Yeah.
We got some that are in the high 70s, low 80s along the coast. But our biggest problem right now is the Atlantic Ocean, which is super, super hot for the way it's supposed to be. Last week, there was a storm already developing out there and that sort of fizzled out, but it did kick up. It got tropical.
Yeah, I saw that.
It sort of turned subtropical anyway. But we're going to have Andy Kirkland on. Already talked to Andy this week. He's going to bring the folks on from the National Weather Service. We're going to get those guys on, so everybody will be able to ask the questions they want to ask. And then we'll get the emergency preparedness people on as well. If we can, we'll get Amanda on and stuff like that. The same thing sort of we talked last year. And by the way, on the website, on gcor1.com, all that emergency information is on the website. So all you have to do is click, what do I got to do if I, insurance and all that other stuff. All the questions you need to ask is on the website at gcor1.com. And by the way, it is, there's only 4 other websites in the state of Texas that got the rating that we got at a 98. So our website is very informational. It's been changed around a little bit. The radio station is going to go back on in another day or so. We have it off right now because of the streaming situation. And I apologize.
That's right. Last week.
Yeah. Last week I have, and I'll show you what it is right here.
You blew up.
I blew up. You see this little thing right here? Okay. Yeah. So on the back of this and behind here, this is the other one. But on the back of this back piece blew off about 20 feet and the battery inside exploded. And that was my hotspot that I was using. Right now we're using my hotspot on my phone, which works perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a little pricey because I only get 20 gigs for $20. So, and it goes really fast. So, but anyway, we're going to have the new fiber in here and everything will be set just perfectly. And our weather station is be put up at our building here. So we'll be able to do live weather readings right here. So the only 2 places in Bay City will be the airport and downtown here that we'll be able to get true weather readings on things.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're moving up there. The other thing I want to
weekend, hopefully everybody took advantage of the tax-free weekend for emergency supplies.
Yeah.
I think it's time to start pulling those plans out, reviewing them, making sure your family knows about it. Right. So help me, Jeff. So hurricane season starts June 1?
No, May. It starts actually a little early this year. It starts in May 20th, 22nd, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little earlier this year. So, but we're going to have – go ahead. Yeah, we're getting close. I'm going to be away from May 20th to the 26th.
Okay.
So I won't be here that Monday, but we'll be able to record a show and it'll play. That's the good thing about YouTube. It'll play, boom, right when we need it to play.
Good.
So we'll pre-record a show on Sunday night or something and get it done.
Okay.
One last thing I want to say about this show, and then we'll continue on with what we're going to do. I'm getting ready, and we're buying the equipment to actually do the business of the week. So we're going to have all the small businesses in Matagorda County. We're going to make phone calls and say, hey, we just want to come and do a 2-minute deal on your business, about you, about what you do, about what you sell. It's absolutely free. We're going to do this. The businesses that want to participate on the show, and right after the show's over, when we sign off, that little 2-minute segment will play at the end of the show. And we're going to be start doing sponsorships for the radio and this show. And there's actually another show we're looking at to get started. It's going to be a Christian show that we're going to do with John and just we'll get to all that. But we got a lot of stuff going on besides working on everybody's piece of equipment in Matagorda County.
So, all at once.
Yeah. So everything it's going to be great, and we're trying to help get the businesses known, people that are coming into the area. And the nice thing about it is, if somebody eventually goes to YouTube, they'll get to see all those individual 2-minute deals on there. So it's everything about all the businesses in Matagorda County. And I don't care what kind of, it could be a food business, a retail business. It doesn't matter. Now, and we're talking about small business, not big business.
Yeah.
We're talking about small business, family-owned businesses, not Dollar Generals, not the Dollar Trees, nothing like that.
Right.
We're talking about people that actually own business, different businesses, from restaurants to upholstery to boat repair to everything you can think of that is out there. Attorneys, it doesn't matter. Family-owned businesses.
Right.
So you'll have a little. Everybody's going to get 2 minutes to be able to talk about their business, and it'll be on this show at the end of the show every week. We're going to start doing it and getting one on there. So it probably will be closer to after summer or the fall time that it will start coming on the show, because we got to produce them all. But it'll be great. Every week we'll have a show. We'll have a business, a little thing for everybody that watches stuff. So tell your friends, tell your neighbor they own a business. Tell them to email me at InsideTexas24@gmail.com. InsideTexas24@gmail.com. If you want to be a part of that, want more information, we'll make sure we get that up for you. Also, I was told by my wife that we are going to have an actual the boss lady, that we are going to have an actual studio, and it is going to be mobile. So we'll be able to travel around with we're going to get it wrapped and all that stuff. We had planned on that like 2 years ago, and everything just fell out with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
So, but we still have the trailer, and we still have the enclosed trailer, and we're still going to have the studio. So Mitch and I will be coming to a town near you.
I love it.
But anyway,
we go on the road.
Continue on. What's the next subject we got?
So I just want to bring this up again. We are facing a significant drought. We are talking about it being hurricane season, but the reservoir situation up in Austin is not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse. The inflows are little to none. I try to pay a lot of attention to how it's raining, what I would call north and west of Austin. And there's just not a lot of water hitting that watershed. We're at the end of the line, folks. LCRA has a water management plan. I just want us to be mindful of there's going to be drought considerations. I probably brought this up last week and the week before that. But I just keep throwing it in there because I want us to be ready. There's a phrase called drought worse than the drought of record. The drought of record for LCRA was established back in 1950s, and it was bad. And it lasted 5 or 6 years. We're year 2, maybe year 3 into this last round of drought. We had a 3 or 4 year drought in 2011, and then we had a miraculous rain fill the reservoirs up. I just want you paying attention. I know it's way up in Austin, but that water comes down the Colorado River, whether we get water or not. We get run of river water. That means when it rains south of the dam, it comes through. That helps our bays and estuaries. That does help our firm water customers. It's not helping our ag customers at all. There is also what I call duck water. A lot of landowners will buy water from LCRA to flood their fields for the ducks and waterfowl, and that's in jeopardy. So drought worse than the drought of record. Keep it in your mind. There's not anything we can do other than pray that the good Lord will fill up the reservoirs and allow it to rain in significant amounts. The last thing I want to do is drum up and think about a tropical storm or a hurricane. But traditionally and historically, that has been what has filled up the reservoirs north of Austin. Of course, there's also some pain with that because it rains all the way up there. But I just want to kind of keep that on everybody's mind. I don't want you to be surprised when one day you wake up and some of our industry are curtailed, or some of our bays and estuaries are suffering. The salinity level is getting maybe a little too high because of the lack of water coming down out of the lakes. I say lakes, reservoirs. There is a reservoir, the Arbuckle Reservoir in Wharton. I'm hoping that the repairs are finished and that it'll start being filled up, tested. I feel very comfortable. That's probably going to start here before long. So that was all. I just wanted to talk a little bit about being careful, watching, reading, pay attention. I don't want it to come up and be a surprise for anybody. So that's where we are.
Right. Okay. All right. So we know where that's heading. And lastly, we got the elections coming up, don't we?
So we do. We currently in an election. And Jeff, when we sent that out, I had not read through that exactly right. So early voting is going on. There's one more day of early voting. Now, remind you, this is Boling ISD, Palacios ISD, the city of Palacios, the Bay City ISD. It is not the city of Bay City. Why? Because we changed the terms of the councils. So we went from 2-year terms to 3-year terms. And so all of our council members have an extra term added to them. So no May election for the city of Bay City, but we do have a contested race. When Carolyn and I went and voted on Wednesday, I think we were number 28 and 29. Okay. Now, early voting had already been going on for 2.5 days, and we were 28 and 29, which indicates just a dismal amount. We do have a contested race. Jill Westmoreland is not contested. She's the only one filed for her slot. But Lori Robichaud has filed, and Esau Rodriguez has filed for Bay City ISD. The incumbent chose not to run, and Mr. Murray chose not to run. And so do your best to get out there and vote tomorrow, Tuesday. If not, election day is May the 4th, Saturday, 7 to 7. Now, on election day, you've got to go to your precinct. Right now, you can just run down to the service center over in Bay City or the annex over in the navigation district over in Palacios. But if you wait for Saturday, then you got to go to your actual polling location. Hours on Saturday will be 7 to 7. So these guys and gals deserve your support. They deserve your vote. They deserve you to take just a few minutes. I bet you, Carolyn and I wasn't in that building. I bet we weren't in there 5 minutes, and that was mostly because we were just talking with the election workers. We were the only ones sitting there, and they were very bored. So we had, but I want you to know that Boling has an ISD. There is some Boling ISD territory in Matagorda. You and I won't see it because we don't live up in the Pledger area. But go out and vote. If you have any questions, go to the Stephanie Wirtz has a really great website on the county website. I got all the information I needed, but it's worth voting.
And by the way, real quick, I'm going to thank Stephanie for making that correction on the Facebook page.
Yes.
And then me and her talked by ourselves and said Stephanie is going to be taking the place of Mitch Thames if he messes up anymore. So
I love it. Excellent.
No, we didn't talk.
I've had I saw her post on Facebook, and I went in and answered her. I cut and pasted. I should have read it a little better.
It's all right.
I do want to talk about, a lot of people are getting this May 4th election confused with the Republican primary runoff. That's not until May 28th. Early voting for that is the 20th. So the 20th of May. Remember, the election day for the city and the school boards and all that is May 4th. Then, 16 days later, early voting starts for the Republican runoff between A.J. Louderback and Jeff Bouknight. Right. Both of them have been scouring the district. That's State House District 30. And so we're going to vote in the municipal and the school board, and then we're going to vote in the runoff election for District 30. So
AJ was just here in Bay City with what's his name? I'm sorry, Ken Paxton. Yeah,
they had a big event.
Yeah, were you there?
No, I had Lions. It was on Friday at noon, and
that's right. Yeah.
Lions, we meet Friday at noon, so I wasn't able to attend. I saw some pictures and heard the report. I know Jeff Bouknight was in Sargent down at one of their chamber events, and so they're getting around. I'm very impressed with how much they're both campaigning hard, spending a lot of money too, I bet. But we owe it to go out and vote. Whichever way you vote, just vote. I hope we had more than 100 people vote in the school board election. That just really worries me. You know, I'm not looking for 1,000, but I mean, so there's 10,000 registered voters in Matagorda County. I just want to make sure that we're getting.
1% doesn't work, brother.
No,
it doesn't. 1% does not work. It ain't gonna work.
It's kind of sad.
It's a shame, but it ain't gonna work. There has to be something. There has to be something to do to make it more exciting for voters to go out and vote. And it's one thing I've been sitting ever since I was a pro wrestler. Because if you remember, it was Rock the Vote and all that stuff. Remember back in the day?
Michigan,
I remember when
Minnesota.
Minnesota. We started working on that. I was actually working on that. It was 1984, 83, 84. Rock the Vote. And I remember sitting down in conversations talking about that. There was a lot of work that went into that. And those were some of the highest years of voting ever across the country, especially with Clinton back at that time. High numbers there. And Jesse Ventura, of course, working with governorship in Minnesota. Working with him on a lot of things, and but there was certain incentives that happened for the voters. I can't remember all of them that they were. I'll have to go back and look, but there were incentives for the voters. So
it's funny, Jeff. I was wanting to. I thought about that. I almost got in trouble. Thank goodness I talked about it and didn't do it. I wanted to come across the street there at the service center. And just serve a bowl of chili or a free hot dog. If you go vote, go vote and then come across the street and get you a hot dog, or a bowl of chili, something, like you said, just to make it fun. Yeah, I don't know, boil some crawfish. I don't know. Yeah, but I spoke with Stephen Reese, and that's actually against the law.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like paying somebody to vote. I thought that was silly, but I thank goodness I didn't do it, because I don't really like the jail cell. It doesn't fit my back.
No, me neither.
The mattresses just aren't fluffy enough for me.
No.
But so you got to do something, but you got to also be careful with these crazy election laws so that you don't mess up. But I was thinking about that until they shut me down. To make it
that's a good idea.
To make it fun.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Unfortunately, can't do it.
Mr. Reese, I'm not endorsing that, nor am I going to do it. So Sheriff Osborne, you don't have to send the deputies to the house. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to break the law.
Let me tell you what, if we did that, I can tell you that Sheriff Osborne would be first in line for the food.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be there.
And he'd be there. And then
chili and coffee for the sheriff. That's what it is.
And then
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up tonight. And by the way, slight chance of showers and thunder showers just about every day this week. So if something breaks out severe, make sure you keep it tuned right here to GCOR1.com or on Gulf Coast One Radio. We'll be out there and let you know. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames over there. And by the way, you're getting compliments on the way you're looking, sir. People are going to me and saying, I want to find out what Mitch is on because with the weight loss and all that stuff, you're looking good, brother. So keep up the good work.
Trying to live forever.
I know your wife has something to do with it, and it's probably keeping you busy.
Well,
I know.
We're both we're you know, the older you get, it's harder to carry that extra weight around, and so we're plus we decided we want to hang around a little bit longer and watch these grandkids.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. One time I told the doctor, I said, how do I get rid of 125 pounds of useless weight? He said, get a divorce. I said, okay, well, I will see what happens.
Lydia, I had nothing.
No.
Well, say
it was
nothing.
It was before Lydia. It was before Lydia. Okay,
you better start clearing this stuff up. Lord,
I'll get a phone call shortly. Don't worry about it. We'll be
I bet you'll get more than a phone call.
Yeah, well, I'll be seeing you next year sometime, maybe.
I bet. With a black eye.
Yeah. And we will be talking to Stephen Reese and the sheriff about me getting out.
That's exactly right.
All right. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and Mitch Thames, thanks for watching Inside Texas. We'll all see you next week. Don't forget, you can rewatch the show back on GCOR1.com. In case you missed it, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Till next week. We'll see you later.
Take care.